Oh, yeah. Martial arts. Mixed, baby.
Yes, you know what that music means. It means we are all the way live. And it means we are less than an hour away from a UFC event. In fact, it's UFC 272 in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. The main event will be Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. The grudge match finally goes down. That's how the night will cap off. But first fight, Dustin Jacoby, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk will kick off in around 45 minutes or so. And we're here to get you ready for this entire event. This is the People's Pre-Fight Show. We got a whole crew here. I think this is the most amount of people we've had for a People's Pre-Fight Show. I am Mike Heck. We got the Prince of Positivity, Mr. Alexander Cayley. Hello, my best friend.
Hello, my best friend. And yes, and I put a poll. I just wanted to run a quick poll. And it's if anyone can see on YouTube, the poll just says, "How's it going?" And I just want to know, is it good? Is it so far good? 60%. Could be better, 40%. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
We gave AK too much power with these polls. He's hooked on them now. He's
I'll
absolutely
throw up a
hooked on
different poll. We just asked like 50. We had like 50 Covington Masvidal polls over the last couple of days. All right, I'll throw up a different poll in a second.
We have Jed Mishu, the BTL champion of the universe, who is
sliding in. How did he do that? That was
what
amazing.
occurred here?
What happened to the camera?
Interesting. It went
is.
to my laptop camera instead of my external. So if something happened, I could have disconnected. So, hey guys, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. And we have Casey Leydon on the ones and twos. There he is.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Doing wonderful. Happy to be here. Happy to talk. Oh my God, Jed's face is gigantic. What happened? We just fixed this before we started.
Because you're working on my other camera now. That camera has stopped working apparently.
It just turned off. All right. Well, here we go.
So we're off to a fantastic start. So for those of you who are familiar with People's Pre-Fight Show, you already know what to do. Leave your questions, your thoughts on the card in the chat. We'll pull the best ones up on screen. If you are new to that, just listen to what I just said about people who know. Leave your questions in the chat. We'll bring them up. Because surely, and it may have already been asked, how do we submit questions? That is how you submit questions. And then Casey will pull them up on the screen and we'll discuss them. All right? So let's go. We got 40 minutes until this event starts.
Right.
It's going to start in a big way with Dustin Jacoby and Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Should be a fun fight at 205.
All right. So this is the big one. Everyone's been asking. It's a lot. I've seen multiple versions of this, so we got to answer this. And I think we have the right person here. Hey, Esther.
Hey, sorry.
Hi, Esther.
Hey, Esther.
The iconic voice.
Where are you going?
It's super windy.
Okay.
And like
A peek behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen.
It's so windy. It's zipping her around the living room, right? Oh my! Close the window.
Breeze is bothering her.
Casey, close the window, please.
All right. Here we go. First question.
Jed,
June
please,
Hoven. Jed, go ahead. Let's get this out of the way before someone hopefully asks the winner of this fight that question in the post-fight
A lot of
press
hopes
conference.
and dreams. It's just hopes and dreams. That's how
you
becomes law.
you gave us an answer on the if anyone wants the pre-fight the weigh-in show, Jed did provide an answer. Jed, can you just very quickly explain to people how, because we didn't know.
Sure. Someone proposes it to the Congress, and then the Congress sends it to committee where it gets butchered into something barely recognizable to its original intent. It then goes back to Congress. They vote on it. It bounces around for a while. Functionally, if everybody says yes and the president decides to sign it, it's a law.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
How did they not know
a
that?
number of vetoes the president can use.
Sure.
So
How did they not have that ready at the press conference? I don't understand. It sounds so simple.
Masvidal was too busy worrying about his NFT.
Ah, that's true. Priorities. Yeah.
What's in the box? All right, here we go.
Bobby Atkins, all this chatter about RDA, but where does Moicano go with a win? Which
Good
is
question.
probably going to be, which in my opinion is a question we're going to have to answer tomorrow, AK, but maybe not. RDA is a G. The guy is great. First ballot Hall of Famer. I'm actually very much looking forward to that fight. But Jed, we'll start with you. If Moicano wins, where does he go?
I mean, I know you guys have proposed Moicano Bobby Green after last weekend. I think you could still do that because Bobby Green probably still deserves somebody, though maybe not. Maybe Moicano moves too high up the rankings. I'll be interested to see where he settles. Obviously, RDA in the UFC is really highly ranked. I just don't know if Moicano will just take that over or if that'll kind of end up being Moicano as like a top 10-ish guy. I think he's your boy though, Mike. I think it's Arman Sarukian with the win. Maybe Mateusz Gamrot. I don't know if Gamrot has a fight lined up yet, but either of those kind of top 10, top 15 guys who are on the come up, that feels there's just nobody above him he can fight. He's going to have to fight down.
Yeah. Interesting spot, but at least he'll have a number next to his name, and that'll be good. What do you think, Casey? Right around there?
What is RDA in our rankings? The MMA, the only
Eighth,
rankings that matter.
eighth, I believe.
Eighth, I believe. So is he going to do the kind of tied to Avosta thing where he just basically wherever the winner is, he's just going to be we're going to replace RDA with Moicano if Moicano wins?
RDA is number 6 in the UFC rankings, by the way.
No, he said well, not that anyone cares about those, but yeah.
Yeah. So Moicano would be a legitimate top 10 fighter then, right? If he gets
I think so.
Yeah,
Because here too, he would jump. He would jump over like I would have no problem putting him over Riddell, Hooker, Sarukian. Maybe some people would disagree with that. Gamrot, Fiziev, Gillespie. Those are the other names kind of in between him and RDA. I'd be fine with him if he beats RDA with him jumping over those guys. Yeah, I think that's okay. Oh, except he lost to Fiziev. Sorry, he lost to Fiziev. He lost to Fiziev. So I would drop Fiziev below. I would drop RDA and, below Fiziev and then put Moicano above. So Fiziev would move up. If RDA lost.
So it'll be a lot of MMA math going on in that.
Sure. Should I break out the calculator? It costs $85,000 to use, but okay. Anyway, no, it's fine. I think
No. That's special occasion.
Okay.
That's just the ranking show.
Okay.
What is the line on that fight right now?
RDA is favored -170, +150 on Moicano.
Moved
That's
a
kind
little
of
bit
crazy
towards
because
RDA.
that's pretty much the same line that I would expect if the fight was a full camp for Moicano. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. I don't think that there's a lot of juice baked in for a 5-rounder and a full camp. That line seems about right.
Yeah.
Or like what you were saying, Casey, seems
Yeah.
about right.
I would love it if Moicano, because you know me, I think Makhachev has done enough to get a title shot, and all this talk about him having to fight Dariush again is just insane. And I know the timeline Dariush's return is unclear, but ideally I would like to get like Moicano would get Dariush. Because I think Dariush does have to fight again to sort of get a title shot, and I don't think he has to fight. I just don't want to. He doesn't need to fight Makhachev, or Makhachev doesn't need to fight him. So if Dariush is healthy by the end of the year, and Moicano can wait that long, that's the right matchup for him. But again, it could be till next year till we see Dariush. We really don't know.
He's saying summertime, right?
You said June.
I didn't. I didn't. Oh,
yeah. He's saying he's foregoing surgery and he's just going to do PT.
Right.
And he says he'll be ready June, July.
Beautiful.
Dariush
Well, again,
Moicano sounds actually pretty good if Moicano wins. Actually.
I like that. Yeah, but I don't know how insistent Dana White is on the Makhachev Dariush rebooking, right? But silly.
Right.
David Sandine, who needs this one more? Kevin Holland or Cowboy Oliveira? This one seems pretty easy to me, but AK, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I want to say Holland, but Oliveira, I mean, you have to think he's close to a release, right? I'm not close to release. He probably would be released. This will be 4 straight. The company does love him. The company, he's a gamer. He signs on to fight whoever. They do love that. I'm sure he'd be happy to. I don't know how many fights he has left. I'm sure they're happy to negotiate with him as long as he's signs on at a reasonable price. So I guess he's not that much in danger. So I lean towards Holland, but I think it's a good question because I do think Oliveira is fighting for his UFC career. Holland, not necessarily. Holland gets another shot at 170 for sure if he decides to stay there, or can go back to 185 like they liked him up there. But obviously, reputation-wise, huge blow for Holland, who I think everyone believes can be a contender at 170. And if he was just really handled by a veteran like Cowboy Oliveira in his first fight down the weight class, boy, that'd be a tough sell. It'd be a long climb back up. But so I will lean towards Holland, but a lot in the line, I think, for both guys.
Jed?
Oh, yeah, for sure, Holland. I don't think Oliveira gets caught with the loss, and he's not ever challenging for a title. So in a lot of ways, he's protected from needing to win. He just fights, gets paid, does good work. If Holland wants to put a title run together, he's dropping weight class. He's kind of going to need to start like right now because welterweight is look. It's impossible to get title shots in lightweight. It's really difficult in welterweight. If you look at the top of that division, especially in the UFC rankings, those dudes sit on their rankings for a while. I mean, Covington, Masvidal have both just been protecting where they are. It's just really tough to climb that ladder. And so Holland, he's not. I think he's 29. He needs to get going. If he's going to do it, he needs to start getting after it. And more to the point, if he loses to Alex Oliveira, I think that he will never fight for a title if he loses this fight. So he needs to win this.
I like that.
What's interesting, we're going to who needs it more, but we're already kind of, I guess, who needs it more in the sense of, well, does Alex Cowboy need it to stay in the UFC or to get it? Like we're talking about Holland to be a title contender. We're kind of we're kind of giving up on Cowboy ever being a title contender. Is that kind of done?
Oh yeah, that's
okay.
done.
Yeah.
Well, who needs it more? We're kind of talking about what the more is, and it's very different for each fighter. For Cowboy's just keeping his UFC contract. Wow, he got 3. Actually, I'm really surprised he's on. I'm not surprised he's on a 3-fight losing streak. It just kind of snuck up on me. I just assumed he fights so often. I assumed there was a random win in between that I kind of forgot about. But I mean, 4 losses in a row, especially that's. Yeah,
and I mean, he lost to good guys. Don't get us wrong, but
I mean, he didn't lose to anyone. He lost to good guys, but no one's in the top 15.
Shavkat's in ours.
Okay, he's in ours. Okay, Shavkat, and then,
he might be in the UFCs too. I actually don't know. Hold on, I'll pull that up while we're talking. He is. Shavkat has moved into the top 15.
So he's lost to one top 15. The last 2 guys are just good fighters.
For the record, Shavkat is a Favre, a fighter also receiving a vote in our rankings, not top 15 ranked.
I thought he made it in this month.
He's close. He's very close.
Gotcha. My bad. Hand up.
Yeah,
I screwed that up.
I'm with you, Jed. I don't think Cowboy loses his job with a loss here. I think this is set up to make Kevin Holland look good, like a put-over fight, if you will.
This is a showcase fight for Holland, right? On the pay-per-view?
I think Holland will run him over. Yeah, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And that's why Cowboy still has value to this organization because he is a name that people recognize. He looks good getting off the bus, and you can throw the Rachmanovs of the world, all these up-and-coming guys. Like if Ian Gary wins like another couple of fights, you could throw him in there with Cowboy Oliveira, and that's like a good win to, keep his trajectory going. So there's value to Cowboy. The guy can still fight. Like he's been in some fun fights. Sometimes he gets run over a little bit by guys who are better, but yeah. And with the Kevin Holland title talks, I don't know if I necessarily like if he really truly wants to be a world champion. I agree with Jed, but I don't think he cares that much about that. I just think he wants to get wins and stay active. So this could be a situation where Holland goes out there, gets a quick win, and then we could see him in 3 weeks at 85. And then it's very possible that we see that from Holland. I think activity means more to him than anything else. And AKA is wiping away my response.
I was supposed to disappear. Sorry, I screwed it up. That was supposed to be a magic trick. I was like, and now it's going to be gone. And then
that would have been amazing. No,
my bad.
Yeah.
I like this
heavily favored, by the way. Minus 380.
There's a comment. I think there's a comment from your mom's favorite in the YouTube comments that I think answers the question like this. Alex Oliveira needs to feed his family for F's sake. This is true. He does have 10 children, so maybe he does need it more.
That's a great point.
Maybe he does need it more. That's a good point.
Yeah, that still freaks me out when fighters say that, like who aren't like debutantes in the UFC, like guys who've been with like 25 fights and I don't know how many fights he has, but yeah, it's just wild. I need to feed my family. Yeah, interesting. All right.
Nam kablam. Why does Greg Hardy keep getting fights on pay-per-view main cards? Are people excited to watch him fight? Why is that, Casey? We'll start with you.
Next. I've no clue. There's lots of I can't think of an exciting fight. He's been like I don't know. I don't know. He's mean looking. He's big. I don't know. No clue. He's expensive. I don't know. He's like the only fighter in the UFC that's probably paid what he's actually should be getting paid. considering how good he is. But I
Right.
I have no idea. No idea.
My thing, and I don't want to get into a whole debate about how this card is placed and where fights are. And
Yeah.
like, I honestly think that the UFC, and we saw it in the press conference, we've talked about this many of time, they are appealing to the casual audience. They want to get people who have never really watched the sport before to come in, because we got two guys who want to fight each other. Let's bring them in. So to start the main card, let's bring in two huge looking dudes who are just going to fight for like 3 minutes until somebody goes to sleep. That's what the UFC is banking on. If this fight goes beyond that, the UFC is just a big whiff. But I mean, to me, this fight screams either Greg Hardy is going to knock Sergey Spivak into the Netherlands, or Sergey Spivak is going to take him down and pound him out very quickly. Like, first takedown, this fight is over. So I think they're just looking for a quick finish to get the card off to like just a fast start. So that's why, but I mean, it makes no sense. Like, this is one of the worst fights on the actual card in terms of matchups and stuff like that. Like, there's no stakes here whatsoever. I mean, if you're going to find a storyline, I think this is the last fight on Hardy's contract. So, I mean, there's some kind of a story there, but yeah, I mean, there's much better fights matchmaking wise on this card. Like, this could have been in a lot of different spots. Like, you could have put Turner Malarkey in that first spot, but I understand why Turner Malarkey there, because that's high level martial arts and that fight's going to be insane. So we want to get those extra pay-per-view buys. I have no idea, but I'm trying to put myself in the UFC's brain.
I'm literally looking at every single fight in the card. Every single fight that's before that fight, I would like it better. Every single one, actually. I mean, if you go by your logic, well, they're heavyweights, they hit each other hard. That's what UFC likes, and sure, but I literally like every other fight to replace that fight.
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is his performances have been so lackluster. Like, these are actually the kind of fights that for me would turn off people from ordering again. Like, well, let's say I don't know if this is their first or second, they're casual viewers and they turn a review and they watch this guy fight. His fights are really bad. Like, so he's only been on pay-per-view main cards twice. The first time he won, this is UFC 249, and he beat Jorge De Castro, and that fight was horrible. And it takes two. I'm not blaming just Greg Hardy. Jorge De Castro is a nice guy, but obviously not a high-level UFC heavyweight. So it's both guys made a bad fight. But that fight for both guys should not have been on the main card. And then you had the Tai Tuivasa fight at 264, which was super exciting for as long as it lasted, and that's fine. But again, so that's one exciting fight, one horrible fight, and then several other really bad fights that were not on pay-per-views. So I think it's actually harmful for the product to have a guy like him. Even outside of the horrible things he's done in the past, his fights are just really bad. And I just find it so weird that like they think someone will watch one of his fights and want to watch more UFC. This will make someone who's spending $75, they'll just be like, why did I do this? Until the other fights come on. So there is reasons why. Mike has explained why. And that is, I think, the thinking of the matchmakers. It's just really flawed thinking on their part. That's what I think. It's just awful. So we'll see.
Jed.
I'm not trying to pick a fight. I think a lot of people in the MMA media space have a decidedly blind spot about Greg Hardy and what he offers and what he is. I'm sorry, it's really loud. Someone is being Someone is being extremely cool on my very quiet neighborhood walk. I think they might be done with it now. If you showed me this card without placement and the names mixed, I would have picked exactly where he is placed. I think it's incredibly obvious for some of the reasons you said, Mike. The short answer is he's a heavyweight. The UFC likes heavyweights. We can say he's not an exciting fighter. He's not a great fighter. He has an average fight time of 6 minutes and change. He gets in or gets out, which has value and is usually pretty appealing to a layperson. And
what about in the UFC? But what about in the UFC? That's like counting his fights before the UFC. He's had a lot of fights go the distance in the UFC.
He has not had a lot of fights go the distance. He has had, I think, 2.
3 out of 7.
He's had 3 decisions.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
he's had 2.
Solely?
This is solely fight. Sure, I kind of forget about that one.
Well, I mean, it isn't no contest.
Apparently
it doesn't exist. It is a no contest.
Yeah. The reality is Greg Hardy is a really, really big name in sports,
Yes.
especially for people who don't know anything. He comes with a price tag, so the UFC is certainly going to try and use it. I would say AK's arguments are actually a really good reason why you would put him on a pay-per-view card, because the buyer is pot committed, as opposed to placing him as the prelim main event, which is supposed to lead into sales to the pay-per-view. And look, I don't know what the hell is happening. My street is not like next to a drag circuit.
Is a gang about to attack you? Is a gang about to attack you? I'm scared for you. Can you dial 911?
Wants you to know just how cool they are, because I live in like a very quiet residential neighborhood. So I have no idea.
Can you dial 911 just to be safe? Just to be safe.
No. My point being, I think that maybe the biggest gulf in the sport between media perception and casual people perception is on Greg Hardy, because people know him and will tune in and will probably enjoy a get or get got fight with Sergey Spivak. I think it's totally fine for him to be main card placed, because we're not doing a meritocracy here, and we haven't been doing, or else our co-main event would be the potential strawweight title eliminator. So whatever, I don't have any problems with it. It makes sense to me, frankly.
It's the same reason why Roman Reigns and Bill Goldberg were the first match of that Saudi Arabia card, because there was 3 minutes. They're just going to get after it, and then they're gone. And we've set the tone. That's why they're doing it.
We're comparing the star power of Greg Hardy to Bill Goldberg and Roman Reigns?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not. But there's a reason that match went first. It's because it was 3 minutes, and it was over.
But the one thing I don't understand is, now, Goldberg and Roman Reigns were advertised. You talk about this is for the casual fan. There is zero chance the casual fans even has any idea Greg Hardy's even on this card. I haven't seen. I haven't seen Greg Hardy on a poster. I haven't seen he didn't come. He was at the press conference. Dana White's not going.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. We're talking about card placement. We're not talking about superstardom. We're talking about
casual fans
together.
All right.
No, but
we're just talking about how cards flow. That's it.
Casual fans also are not buying a card for anybody other than the main event, and Greg Hardy's never going to be that. But a person who buys 3 fight cards a year and tunes in, they're not going to know Sergey Spivak and pick random top 10 heavyweight Alexander Volkov. They'll be like, dude, Greg Hardy used to play for the Cowboys. Cool, let's watch this. Like that has value, like legitimate.
Yeah, and that's probably the answer.
I guess I don't understand, because like Kevin Holland being on the pay-per-view, that makes sense, because the UFC is invested in Kevin Holland. They think he will be a hopefully eventual title contender. So they want to get fans kind of used to paying for him. And that's why I don't understand why someone like Marina Rodriguez is so far in the prelims, because if she wins, the idea is her next fight will be for a championship fight, so you have to pay this Marina Rodriguez. Like, so you're kind of Greg Hardy.
But that's not going to headline a pay-per-view, though. Her and Rose isn't going to headline a pay-per-view.
But it's going to be on posters. It's going to be on the press conference. We're going to have Dana going. We're going to be asking Dana, what's next for Marina? We're not asking Dana, what's next for Greg Hardy?
Yeah.
We're not. No one's. If Greg Hardy knocks out,
he's going to get asked that question, though. He's going to
get asked.
Win or lose, he's going to be asked that question.
Lose. Win. I don't
win
think
or
anything.
lose.
I think lose more likely he gets asked about it, actually.
Yeah, if
win,
he wins,
he might be able to say
whatever.
whatever. Lose would be a much more tricky question, because I do think they'll want to keep him around for whatever reason, and then how do you justify it?
I mean,
we talked about Greg Hardy.
just so clear, if
Moving
Greg
on.
Hardy
Moving on.
Spivak, he's a top 15 UFC heavyweight.
Who is?
No, he's
Spivak's ranked in their rankings.
Oh, in the UFC's rankings?
Oh.
Yeah, if he knocks him out,
that's
Greg
possible.
Hardy is going to be a ranked UFC heavyweight.
That's wild.
Which it's very possible, and Greg could knock
And
him
that's
out.
like,
And that's
I'm like
only
pretty sure he is ranked.
Yeah,
he is not ranked. He is not ranked in the UFC rankings.
No.
Oh, he's not? Okay. Well, then he might not be. I mean,
Yeah.
Sergey Pavlovich.
Oh, okay. I had the wrong
Yeah.
Sergey.
We gotta look at
And
Sergey's mix.
Yeah.
A lot of
And AK,
Sergeys.
you know how I feel about Sergey Spivak. You know how I feel about him. You know how I
Do
feel
I?
about his performance against Alexei Oleinik. I hated that performance. I thought that was just one of the all-time biggest blunders for a guy who was like on a surge, and the UFC put him in a spot where they're like, here you go. Here's your chance. Here's your chance to make a statement. And then you had a lame 15-minute decision win. Like, just awful.
But how do you feel about his polar bear cage tattoo?
Very on the nose.
Is it the best tattoo in MMA?
Oh.
Is it
I don't know.
better?
I mean,
Is
we
it
have-
better than
that's-
Masvidal's?
That's a Jose question.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
Jose
we'll
question.
ask Jose. We'll
I
save that for
don't
the.
think Jose's a fan.
By the way, so as we go to the next question, I did throw up another poll. Who needs to, based on one of our other questions, who needs to win the most? We asked this earlier. Who needs to win the most? So I did the 2 main eventers: Covington, Masvidal, Kevin Holland, and I threw in Marina Rodriguez because I think she needs to win a lot. But
heck yeah.
apparently people don't agree. Marina Rodriguez last at 4%.
If Marina
Masvidal
Rodriguez
wins.
loses, she loses her title shot. She's actually the most of any fighter on the card. She needs to win the most in terms of title.
I guess, but she would be theoretically one win away. Like she would probably just need to win one again just to get back. But I agree. I think there's a lot on the line for her. But Masvidal leading right now, 44%.
That's just not caring. All that really is like we just don't care about Marina Rodriguez, even though she's headlined 2 fight nights in a row. Actually, I'm sorry. I really apologize for taking so much time with Greg Hardy. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Last word. Last word.
And this is a yes and no question because I actually think this question is very interesting.
Yes, 1,000%.
Sure.
1,000%.
Sure.
Actually, I think this fight 100% makes perfect sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
I would
With a
listen,
win, obviously.
If Hardy had one more fight on his deal, I would say win or lose, you give him Derek Lewis. Win or lose, it's Derek Lewis.
And let me tell you something.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, Derek Lewis, again, like I've said about Tai Tuivasa, there's certain fighters that the ranking doesn't matter. You put a number next to their name, it makes no difference who they fight. People just want to watch them fight. Derek Lewis versus Greg Hardy, people would care about. They would absolutely care about it.
It actually makes sense now, too. It makes sense.
That can easily headline a fight night.
Yeah,
I know.
I've been pushing for that fight. I've been pushing for that fight for a year now.
But it makes sense
like,
now.
That's the fight they should have made a long time ago.
I'll go even further. I'm gonna hate every Greg Hardy fight that comes up anyway. On a week one like title fight pay-per-view, that could be a co-main event. You can put those 2 guys on a poster. You shouldn't because I hate Greg Hardy, but
Greg Hardy with a big win tonight. Yes, I agree. With a win
that's
tonight.
a pay-per-view fight.
All right.
I'm hoping against hope that doesn't happen because AK might lay down in traffic if Greg Hardy knocks out Derek Lewis and becomes a top 7.
Oh, if he knocks out Derek Lewis, that would be very.
I'm saying if he wins tonight and then knocks out Derek Lewis, long shot, really long shot, but.
Yeah, the next People's Pre-Fight show will not have a single poll on it if that happens. Not one poll.
Oh please! You think Greg Hardy is going to stop my love of polls? This is how much I care. This is how much Greg Hardy affects my life. Barely any.
This is all my fault. This is all my fault.
Please, there'll be more polls if anything.
All
right. Here we go.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Jermaine King, if Jorge doesn't get Colby out of there within 2 rounds, and I see him wearing down as the fight goes on, I think we're all in agreement of that, right?
Colby has to win.
I'm the crazy one. I've gotten Masvidal by decision, so.
Oh yeah, you are.
AK might feel different, but
on that AK, do you foresee a world where Masvidal wins early and hangs on to get he wins the first 3 and then hangs on? Or does he overcome a tough start to then win 3, 4, 5?
I think it's more like he conserves his energy as much as he can in the first 2 rounds. Probably loses the first 2 rounds. Maybe even gives up a takedown. A lot of looking at the ref. He's not hurting me. He's not hurt. A lot of that. In the early going, and then hurts Covington with something in the 3rd, and that kind of turns things around. But again, this is a very specific prediction. I don't know. I don't feel confident about it at all. Yeah,
we'll see.
This isn't really a yes. I mean, this is a yes or no question, but I kind of want to go into it a little more.
Comments are welcome. Comments are more than welcome.
Is there even a chance the main event goes to a split decision with these judges in 2022? Yeah, of course there is. If Paul Felder and RDA went to a split decision, then this fight could certainly go to a decision.
Well, I think stylistically there's a chance too. If it's a competitive fight, stylistically with the what matters more, wrestling or actual damage, and I think there's in the way Masvidal fights, I think there is a good chance this could be a split decision if it's a competitive fight. What do you think?
Oddly enough, split decision odds aren't that good. It's plus 450 for this fight to go to a split, which seems weird. That's a very low for a split D line.
Especially since Jorge Masvidal is involved. He's been in so many splits. But I think most people are feeling comfortable with a Colby Covington unanimous pick. Right? I think that's probably why. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's certainly why. But could happen.
I was trying to find judges info. I don't think we have any judges info for the main event yet, unless one of you guys know.
No, I would go to probably the great Scott Fontana or to find that information. He's usually pretty good at that stuff. Johnny Canuck. Okay, what's the biggest pull?
Great question.
Gosh, biggest poll I've had. Let me think about it. There's just been I've just taken so many polls in my day. It's really I really have to think about it. So sometimes
The
you
one
just
that we
wanna
started
unwind.
with, right? The how you doing poll?
I mean, you never forget your first poll is what I always tell people. And you sometimes after a long day, you just I'm just thinking about polls all the time, if I'm being honest. So it's come back to me another time. Maybe hit me up on Twitter, and I'll put up. Maybe I'll even if I can find them, I'll screenshot. I'll send some pictures of my favorite polls, and then we'll really have a conversation going. So thank you, Johnny, for the question.
Someone's gonna clip. I'm just thinking about polls all day.
Oh, 24/7, 25/8, like Corey Anderson, just polls.
Corey Anderson was good until he
Polls.
stopped beasting 25/8. I will never forgive him for it.
25/8 ruled. I love 25/8.
No, he
I
stopped
know.
using.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
He stopped
Yeah,
he didn't commit to it.
25/8.
That's when the UFC got rid of him.
Overtime.
Yeah, the fans turned on him. Jeez.
What else we got?
Um,
Johnny Canuck. Go Linicus. Will Edson Barboza be able to kick Bryce Mitchell since his shorts are camouflage? Very interesting question. Very interesting question.
This
Jeff
changes.
Shu.
I'm
changes
going to
everything.
say he's not going to be able to kick Bryce Mitchell, but not because his shorts are camouflage. But it's really hard to kick people when you're flat on your back.
Ooh. Is there any? What's the line on this fight? I'm assuming Mitchell's the favorite.
Mitchell's about
Bryce Mitchell.
I saw yesterday.
Minus
his-
160.
Ooh.
So
I'm here.
I don't
Minus
know if that
160.
moved overnight. Yeah, minus 160. Yep.
I think that's right. I think that's the right line. I would
Minus
hope people are giving a lot of respect to Barboza. This is a very, very big step up, I feel like, for Bryce Mitchell. And he's coming off a long layoff, though that might be good for him. That might be good for him, actually. So it's hard to say.
Would anything surprise you in this fight? Like if
Oh, but-
Barboza won and won by just
Submission.
how he typically wins? I guess
No,
submission.
if he won by submission, that'd be amazing.
But this won't
I'd
be
be
like a
pretty
shocker.
surprised.
Just if Barboza just won in general, you'd be pretty surprised? Or
No, if he wins by submission, I'll be pretty surprised.
if it doesn't come from like
yeah.
if it doesn't come from like lots of violence before that, if it's just straight up like takedown submission, then that'll be super shocking.
If Bryce Mitchell can't get any takedowns, I'll be surprised. And then Barboza has a much better chance to win. But Barboza is a pretty decent defensive wrestler in space, but he gets backed up too much. And so if he will just not give up any takedowns at all, I will be pretty impressed by that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm pretty impressed.
Did Barboza make it to decision when he fought Habib? It was this,
No. Didn't
got
he get
finished?
pounded out at the end? Or no, maybe he did make it to decision.
Wasn't that one of the
Because
fights?
that was
where he-
only 3 rounds.
Looking up.
Yep, he did. He made it to decision
He
because
did
that was
make it,
only
yeah.
3 rounds.
Okay.
Which honestly, that's a testament to being a tough SOB because there was no part of that fight that was competitive.
It was pretty much 3-10-8 rounds. I felt like from what my memory
Yeah.
was of that fight.
My memory is that he got stopped. So yeah,
Kevin Lee did
There's-
stop him. Kevin Lee did stop him, right? But that was a 5-round fight, I think. Kevin Lee did stop him.
Hold
right?
on, I'm pulling him up.
Yeah, that was the one where Kevin Lee got hit hard with the head kick.
got hit
He did
by a
that-
spin kick.
and he came
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and
yeah.
won still.
Right.
They stopped him in the 5th too. Yeah,
Stopped in the 5th. Okay, so he had more
yeah.
time
Stopped
to
him in
wear
the
him
5th.
down.
Also, it was a doctor stoppage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of fighters on this card. There's like 4 or 5 that are like Bryce Mitchell that fight like Bryce Mitchell, where it's not just single shots. It's just second, third, fourth, fifth. Like they're just going to keep shooting until they get you down. We're going to see that from Ulanbekov. We're going to see that from Umar Nurmagomedov. We'll see that from Colby in a little bit of a different way. Colby uses those takedowns more to just kind of get your opponent tired. He's not a guy like Bryce. Like when Bryce gets Edson down, like Edson might get up once or twice, but then he's just going to get taken down again and again and again. And eventually it's just going to be a nightmare and he's just going to be on the mat. Like that's what Bryce does to guys, to high level guys too. And it's very frustrating when you fight this guy, and he's not going to stand around and try to strike with him. He's going to get shot out of a cannon and go for a takedown in the first 20 seconds of this fight. There's no doubt about it. Now Edson could land a big shot, very possible, but
this is the toughest guy Bryce has ever fought, right?
by far.
By far, yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is great matchmaking. I think this is great matchmaking.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like
It makes
really
sense.
good
Yeah.
matchmaking.
Perfect matchmaking. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that makes sense. Yeah. I'll be surprised if Mitchell can finish Barboza. I'll be impressed. It'd be very impressive.
That'd be huge if he could just submit him. Yeah,
Because I mean,
Or
people have
pound him out.
taken him down, controlled him, but I don't think anyone who has taken him down and just submitted Barboza. When was the last time that happened?
Tony Ferguson. That
Giga
was a
almost did it.
clubbing and subbing, right? Ferguson, he hurt him on the feet first, I think, right?
Oh, that was
Pretty
a while back. Geez,
sure. And I'm pretty sure it was started on the feet. It was like a brawl on the feet first.
Yeah,
and then
except that was in
he-
like a drop exchange or whatever.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he just
Uh,
scrambled and like just choked.
I don't remember all Cerrone's sub, but I have to assume that was a club and sub because
Yeah.
like 2014, that was where Cerrone was making his money
Right.
with club and subs.
Right.
No, yeah, I mean it will be impressive. I think that there's a decent chance of it happening just because Bryce is a really active submission threat, which is also pretty different than a lot of the guys Barbosa's fought. A lot of the guys have been a lot more about staying on top, controlling position, and hammering him over the head, and not immediately fishing for a neck. So I don't know. It's a really good fight. I'm interested.
I'm really curious about the fight. I'm still picking Barboza, but I completely understand why so much people are going toward Mitchell this fight. All right.
Thank you, Goblinicus, for the question.
Yeah. If Bryce Mitchell does an Islam Makhachev v. Dan Hooker, that will be shocking. Like if he goes out there and takes him down and just submits him in like 2 minutes unharmed, like no resistance, then that would be kind of surprising.
Yeah, that'd be very surprising. I don't think that will happen.
No, I don't think so either. Our friend Scott McCrae, does it benefit Kelleher for the fight to be at 145? What's his path to victory? AK, I believe, and I don't want to open up the box here, but I believe in the MMA fighting picks, you're picking Brian Kelleher. So
What, am I? No way. Wait, hold on. Let me change that. I don't think so.
Oh no.
No. I've got Nurmagomedov decision.
You do?
I'm picking,
Let me check my
I'm
MMA
picking
fighting
Keller
picks.
by decision, but that's really
Okay.
I'm not putting my money there. That's just the kind of
I'll say this.
I like Brian
See,
Kelleher.
I feel like you should put your money there and not put your pick there.
I'll say this.
It's Casey.
all
All
right.
right. So Kate,
yeah.
all right, it was Casey. I thought it was you.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
apologies. I got that one.
There's no analysis for that. I'm just kind of like, I like Brian.
Well, here's the thing is, again, kind of we're talking. I think there's a big theme of stepping up for a few people, and this is a pretty big step up for Umar. I mean, Umar is the real deal skill wise. He's one of those guys like you watch him face weaker competition, but you can project how he would do against better competition. Kind of like on a much smaller scale than like Islam. You know, people saying like, oh, but would Islam beat? He hasn't beat anyone in the top 10. It's like, yeah, we can project pretty healthily how he would fare against certain guys in the top 10, which is why, we feel comfortable saying Makhachev is top 3, top 2, whatever, ready for a title shot. So in that same sense, I get it. People see Umar and go like, well, this guy he doesn't have the resume of a top 25 guy, but from what we've seen, he's undefeated. The way he's handled everyone, we think he's a top 25 guy. But I think that's pretty disrespectful to Brian Kelleher. Like 800 for a guy, again, who really doesn't have any wins over like solid veterans. I love Sergey Morozov, but again, he doesn't have the same big show experience that Brian Kelleher does. So I think Usmar wins, but like the minus 800 line to me is really, man, I don't know. It's the temptation of the undefeated. I understand. And just to quickly touch upon the question, I don't think it necessarily benefits him that much because it would benefit Umar too. Umar is also a bantamweight, not cutting weight. So it benefits them because they're not cutting weight. They're getting paid the same. So in that sense, but performance-wise, I don't think it really matters. I think he's only been taking fights at 145 because it's convenient for him and for his opponents. So performance-wise, I don't think it matters.
Umar's minus 1,000 now, by the way.
Holy, come on!
Okay, that's a bit ridiculous, but
What?
Kelleher's got to knock him
though?
out. I mean, honestly, that's his path to victory.
He's
gotta knock
he's
him
also
out.
he's getting a Nurmagomedov bump as well, right? Like that Nurmagomedov name is like an additional like minus 200, right? For no matter what.
Habib's in his corner, right?
It's a tough matchup, man. It's a tough matchup for Kelleher. You know how I feel about Brian. He's been on BTL many times. I'm much respect for this man because I'm sure this fight was offered to a number of bantamweights, and I would say most of them said no, and Kelleher, without hesitation, said yes to this fight because that's the kind of guy he is, and that's the kind of fighter he is. So I have all the respect in the world for Brian Kelleher, but It's got to be a rough night for him, I think.
Yeah. To answer the question for Scott, his path to victory is to somehow stop takedowns and outwork Umar on the feet, because that's if he can not get taken down, he does have a chance to win. I don't think he can. And just very quickly,
yeah,
minus 800, the win probability there is 88, 89%. Minus 1,000, the win probability is just shy of 91%. So it's really not changing the percentages that much. That number just looks way worse than minus 800 does.
Yeah, we hit 4 digits. Yeah, it's gonna.
It looks a lot more disrespectful, but the win probability is actually moving minimally when you're already that juiced.
right.
I see what you're saying.
Isn't Umar also a really good striker? Like, or am I getting my new Nurmagomedov mixed up? Isn't he the one that people like when he came in? Everyone's like, oh, he's another wrestler, and like, oh, and then everyone at Tal's talking about was like, oh, no, like he can wrestle, but he is like insane. Like he's like a really good striker.
Yeah, he's not Usman Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe
Usman
that's
can
what I'm
strike, dude.
Yeah.
But Umar can strike too. If you watch any of his World Series of Fighting fights, the dude can bang. He can strike too. But his wrestling is he's a Nurmy. He's a Nurmy.
He's a Nurmy.
You always have a chance to knock someone out on your feet. You do not have that chance when you're getting pounded into the mat. So keep it on the feet and swing them things, Brian.
That's it. That's the
jump
path
that gilly.
Right there.
Jump that gilly, Kelleher.
Always
jump the
gilly.
Yeah, you got the gilly.
Jump the
You got
gilly.
the gilly. All right.
Monk, what are you guys' opinion on Masvidal's striking? Is it better than Covington's? Okay. Interesting question, because Masvidal's striking has certainly gotten better. We saw it. It wasn't great in the first Usman fight. It was definitely much better in the second Usman fight. Whose striking is better? Like, can you, Casey, I'll start with you. Is this like definitive Masvidal is the better striker? This is like much like Colby is the better wrestler and the better grappler and, you know, the better cardioed fighter. Like, can we say the same thing about Masvidal in the striking with the same amount of confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a better striker. But the gap between the wrestling and control that Colby has compared to the gap between striking levels between Masvidal and Colby is wider in the wrestling. So that's why the fights and Colby's the heavy favorite. But Masvidal is definitely the better striker. Just better everything. Yeah.
Jed.
Sure.
I don't know if it matters.
Everything Casey said's right. I think it's a lot easier to say someone is a better wrestler than another person than it is to say someone's a better striker, because there are a lot of different ways of striking. And so, like, Masvidal is a better boxer than Colby, but is Colby a better kicker than Masvidal? Or clinch striking? There are a lot. In totality, it's certainly Masvidal. And frankly, actually, probably just like everything, it's Masvidal. So I'm comfortable enough saying blanketly he's the better striker. But like Casey said, I would give Covington a substantially better chance of winning a pure striking battle against Masvidal than I would give Masvidal of winning a grappling contest with Colby Covington.
And back to that point too, Masvidal's striking, or just in general MMA, your striking is only as good as your confidence against the guy in front of you. So if Masvidal, if you're not like, you put two kickboxers in an MMA match, yeah, it could be great striking, but if you put a wrestler in front of him, all of a sudden that striking gets really limited, and that's what matters. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't really matter if he's got better striking, because it just matters who's in front of him. Your striking game will completely change if Colby's in front of you.
Yeah, because Colby's takedowns maybe change the way Masvidal strikes.
Yeah,
we've seen
all
that a billion
of a
times.
sudden your jabs and crosses get way shorter because you just
Carry
have
your
to watch
hands
takedown.
lower, your stance changes. It all is changing.
Yeah, that's
broad
Yeah,
strokes.
Masvidal is
Certainly
clearly
Masvidal is
Masvidal is clearly the more dynamic striker between the two. There's just no doubt about it. Now,
Yeah,
rounds 4
yeah.
and 5, could Colby, if the fight gets extended and Colby starts to get off and Masvidal starts to wear down, will we see the significant strikes totals go towards Covington? Sure, but that doesn't make him all in all. It's just where we're at in the fight at the time, kind of building on the points that you guys have. Like, we could see, I mean, we can't say, like, we know going into Covington versus Robbie Lawler, we'd probably all say definitively that Lawler is the better striker than Covington, but the numbers that Covington put up in that fight like doesn't tell that story. Like if you just look at UFC stats and see the amount of strikes that Colby landed, you wouldn't think that. But if you're a guy who's watched both these guys compete their entire careers, you wouldn't think the same thing. So it all heading into the fight, clearly X's and O's, Masvidal is the more dynamic striker. But Colby's good too, man. Colby's good too. He just gets hit a lot. And that's what makes this fight interesting. He's got a great chin, but he does get hit a lot. And I'm just curious if that's going to catch up to him tonight or if that's going to catch up to him like 2 or 3 fights from now.
Guys, you know what makes this question difficult to answer is when, and follow me here, when you mix the martial arts. Imagine mixing the martial arts and then having people fight by mixing the martial art. I'm just saying that's what makes this, that's what makes these things so hard to predict sometimes. I don't approve the mixing of martial arts, frankly. I've been rallying against it for many
One
years.
at a time. One at a time, I say.
What? One at a time? What's the hurry?
One
What's
FC's
the
doing a
hurry?
great
Oh,
job.
I want to show my jujitsu too. Settle down. Settle down. There's probably another place you can show you off your jujitsu, which doesn't even work anyway. But I mean, if you want to do that, there's other avenues for that. So anyway, mixing the martial arts. I don't approve of it, but I'm to understand we have an evening of that coming up, I believe, soon.
Yeah. Yeah, just got pay $75.
All right, let's keep going. No fight yet.
Yeah, keep going.
No fight
No,
yet.
I don't see anything yet.
Oh, my Siri turned on. All right. Oh, jeez. I think I got to turn this Siri off. All right, one more. Let me see what I got here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Once you see fighters walk, we'll do quick main card picks.
I'll end this poll. 47% think Masvidal needs the win the most. Covington in second, I think, at 20. Oh, this poll's results taking a little bit of time to load. Covington 26%, Holland 23%, Rodriguez, 3%.
You know, we haven't talked. Let's talk about this
think I
quick. This
agree
isn't
with
really a
that.
question, but I think it's kind of going to Masvidal getting knocked out.
Yeah, I want to ask you, Jet, about this because I asked you, Casey, about this at the weigh-in show. We have Masvidal who got knocked unconscious by Kamaru Usman. I mean, just the photo of that punch landing and seeing Masvidal's body, like it's just one of the more memorable photos you'll ever see. This is a vicious knockout, but it was also about a year ago. It was like 11 months ago. Colby just had a 5-round war with the champion Kamaru Usman. And he took some damage in that fight too. He took a lot of shots. It was a hard working fight. So what do you think's like more of a storyline? Is it Masvidal coming in off of the most vicious knockout loss of his career, or a year ago and having that time to recover and try to maybe get over that, or Covington 4 months ago, going through a 5-round war with Kamaru and trying to bounce back quickly?
I mean, I think Covington's probably in a worse situation in this regard. He's the one I have a lot more questions about, frankly, and we've talked about this in some of the other programming this week, just about where he's at physically, because the way he's fought some of his previous ones could either be a result of him being a little bit deteriorated and adopting a new style to kind of make up for that, or it could just be he fought 3 really good wrestlers, Usman twice and then Woodley, and so he didn't try to lean too heavily on his grappling focused style. Certainly 3 months or whatever the gap is, he took like 130 shots against Usman, got knocked down a couple of times. I don't have a lot of concern about Masvidal's chin. I mean, his chin might be going because he's 37 and he's got a lot of tread, but I don't think he's going to fight substantially differently as a result of it. Has 50 fights. I don't have a lot of worry about him not being the same after getting slept. Maybe his chin isn't what it once was. But Colby Covington's not really the dude to chin check you either. So I think in this regard, I have a lot more questions about Covington than I do Masvidal.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that for as far as fighters' durability, Colby took a lot more damage over as far as long term in his career in those fights with Usman than Jorge did. I mean, yeah, it's very, the photos looks crazy, but that's one shot. Getting it's all those little shots, boom, 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 boom. Those are the ones that really add up. That they're going to hurt you in the long run. So I take everything what Jed said. I think people big knockouts suck, but it's those continued shots, which would really give
Colby
you those
ate-
long-term damage.
Colby ate just short of 300 punches in his 2 fights against Usman. 298 total punches, 4 total knockdowns.
It's a lot.
That is not a small amount. I know sometimes we get used to Max Holloway doing that in like 2 rounds against somebody, but that's not how people normally fight or get fought in.
All right. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk walking into the octagon right now. Quick main card picks. Jed, we begin with you. Sergey Spivak, Greg Hardy, who gets it done and how?
I'm taking Greg Hardy first round KO. I think I'm going to be the only person here, but I don't like the way Spivak gets hit. And I still think that being one of the top 99 best athletes in the world or whatever is a strong base for MMA. So I think swing one hand, finds a home, gets it done.
Casey.
Going the other way. Spivak first round KO.
AK.
Spivak TKO, ground and pound, first round.
I'm going the same, but I mean, we could absolutely be wrong. This is as 50-50 as it gets. If Spivak can't get a takedown in the first 30 seconds, he's getting knocked out. Kevin Holland, Alex Oliveira, Casey.
Holland dominant decision.
AK.
Holland submission round 1.
Holland submission round 2 for me. Jed.
Cheeky. Holland competitive fight, 3rd round TKO after Oliveira tires out a little bit. I think Oliveira is going to land takedowns early and then gas, and Holland will take over.
AK. Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell.
I'm going Barboza, 2nd round knockout. It's going to catch him.
Bryce Mitchell, 30-26 for me. Jed.
Bryce Mitchell, unanimous decision, maybe a late sub.
Barboza 29-28.
Jed, Rafael dos Anjos, Renato Moicano. We could go double or nothing on the push-up bet here, okay? Because you still owe me 25. I didn't think about that till last night. We can go double or nothing if you'd like.
I'm happy to bet more push-ups on it. Hand up. I don't honestly know what double or nothing means. I don't know if that means. So are we just betting another 25 push-ups basically?
So if Moicano wins, you owe me 50. If RDA wins, you owe me nothing.
Yeah, sure. I'm in because I am taking RDA. I'm gonna go 4th round TKO. 5th round TKO.
I'm going Moicano decision. Wins 3 rounds. Struggles the last 2, but hangs on to win. AK.
RDA decision. I just think he's a better fighter.
Casey, how do you have RDA winning this fight?
RDA decision. I think it's the short notice 5-round thing. Otherwise, I do like Moicano a lot, but just it's too much going against him.
I hate our bet now. Moicano's going to tap him in the first. We are all just going to be all the way wrong, and Moicano's going to club and sub him in 30 seconds.
That would be amazing. That would be awesome.
He might Eddie Alvarez him.
Last one. Oh. Bruce is doing the intros. Oh. Casey, main event, Colby or Masvidal?
Jorge Masvidal, knockout, round number 2.
Colby
AK,
Covington,
we already know, but say it again.
Masvidal decision, fight of the year candidate.
Ooh.
Colby Covington, not that exciting decision.
Yeah, I got 49-46 Covington. I think there's moments of, if you're a Covington bettor, there's moments of just beads of sweat pouring down probably throughout the entire 25 minutes. But like Jed said many times and explained it very well in the preview show, I think this is a tailor-made matchup for Colby. And I think he gets it done. So there you go. That's it.
I threw up one more poll, by the way. Is there
biggest poll ever?
Is there too much mixing of the martial arts? A firm 77% no. So maybe there is something to this MMA thing. I got to relook at this again. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind after tonight.
All right. Dustin Jacoby, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk getting ready to throw down literally within seconds. So great way to start the card. Lots going on. Jed and I will see you in about 3 hours over on Twitter Spaces, the MMA Fighting Twitter Spaces. We'll watch the last 2 prelims together. And then after Colby and Masvidal do the damn thing, we'll be back with all your post-fight coverage. So for Jed, for Casey, for AK, I am Mike Heck. Enjoy the fights, everybody. We'll see you later on.